back again in at some unintentional free time in the weekend, which I usually only waste my time just in the home without going anywhere else because I usually try to meet the same exact family members every week in this day at the end of the weekend. So that's the reason why most of us in the family are usually just wait in the house until it finally is come. Even though right now most of my most of the family members are currently gather for some sort of nephew or niece birthday. I don't know what's basically the appropriate word to describe those kind of thing, but yeah, it's basically the zero birthday, so it's just recently born, probably around 1 week. And to be honest, I don't really like to meet with those many family members, big family members, because for some reason it's just have a lot of children, and I basically probably the middle age. I don't know, because it's just no longer appropriate, perhaps. Because yeah, that's basically the saddest things. Because probably the one that basically try to be invited are just the old people, even though the young people is definitely invited as well. But yeah, young people already have their own purposes or just too lazy to attend it, just like me, which basically I'm actually like it, but since I basically alone and single, that's the reason why I basically don't. It's just pretty awkward to go there, especially when it's basically pretty long time because yeah, that's probably a lot of chit chat, unlike the intentional meeting or just intentional visiting, which is basically shorter and just pretty much focus on talking about unnecessary things. So because yeah, it's basically not that crowded. So anyway, I basically already do the hangout with my college friend as well yesterday, which I haven't been done in more than 2 weeks because yeah, I usually try to do it on 2 weeks, but yeah, it's okay since I basically try to prevent any kind of purchase as well. But at some point, I do started to get bored, even though other people seems to be still wanted to have so a bigger salary all the time because probably some other peoples are pretty fortunate to have so many cool things, perhaps because yeah, they basically able to work abroad or even work remotely with a broad company which basically pay you with a different currency, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's definitely gonna be a bigger salary than most of the people that's basically still work in the same country companies, which yeah, in terms of work they're probably not that different, perhaps. I don't know, maybe because it's there's some differences in terms of the people, how many people that's definitely available on those company. Because if you talk about the bigger company, most of them were probably not a remote first company because they probably already had a office that they must utilize it until they finally didn't have it. I don't know, because yeah, that's the reason why most of them were still technically need for you to relocate to abroad overseas or whatever that. So yeah, I don't know, because yeah, it's just feels so long when you basically didn't have so many things to do. Or maybe I basically just afraid that my friends are basically getting a bigger and bigger salary than me, and I basically just left behind, because at some point some of my friends who basically still struggle to find some work is basically have a high standard as well, so they basically don't want to work like me, which basically didn't have a lot of salary. So I just don't know whether it is actually a good thing or a bad thing, because at some point we definitely need to work as good as we can according to our skills, because yeah, basically they already tried to study abroad, so that's the reason why they already think that the working in a low currency it's just no longer appropriate, even though basically they definitely will not able to afford similar thing in those country, because yeah, that's definitely requires a lot of money, even though yeah, technically if you try to make to afford something that basically in the capital or near the city center or downtown, that's still technically very expensive as well. Even it's probably even more expensive than many things out there, I guess, or no. I think I just don't get it how people can get so rich and able to afford a house that's basically, I don't know, it's just very expensive. You basically try to convert into my own currency, so that's the reason why, even though at some point some of the place in my country is also pretty expensive in terms of the price each of from each meters or square meters, I don't know. So anyway, so I don't know, because to be honest I basically wanted to start the business or try to do a productivity things on my own rather than just focus on working for other people's. But at some point I don't know whether it's going to be easy or not, because most of my family which basically related to the businesses are not really well, because yeah, they basically already have high stakes, but it turns out it's just unpredictable and everything just lost like that. All the monies that's basically work for many years are just wasted for nothing. Yeah, I definitely will not try to waste those much money, but I'm just afraid I basically have the same fate. But yeah, I don't know, because at some point I don't know whether it is actually a luckiness or it is actually an unluckiness, because just like once again, like I always try to mention in the previous episode, many of the previous episode, because for some reason the lucky peoples in terms of spiritually is the one that able to focus more on the things that happen in the afterlife instead of focusing on the things that they basically only able to enjoy very short. Because I even though there's definitely a possibilities for when you basically have a lot of money to basically donate or help many people as much as you can in order to make yourself have a better afterlife. But I don't know whether it is actually better than when you didn't have any money but already concentrate on the afterlife instead. So yeah, that's the reason why I basically don't know what kind of things that I basically wanted to do if I basically try to think like that, because yeah, every time that I basically remember what I just said, it's technically just forcing me to be grateful with my condition as long as I still feel pretty much confident. So I'm pretty much okay with my salary, even though it's definitely less than my friends that I always try to do hang out with them. So yeah, because for some reason maybe my additional income would probably from other things that not always be something that I have from working for other people's, because yeah, even if you cannot achieve those things until you eventually gone from this world, just believe that you will have that in the afterlife, because yeah, we should be created equally, even though uh, in terms of the things that we will get in this world will definitely not equal, but in terms of things that you got in this world and in the afterlife will definitely equal. So it just depends on how you basically able to focus on the world or just focus on the afterlife. So that's the reason why. And yeah, because every efforts that or every determination that we are already tried to do will never be wasted as long as it is a good thing, because if it was a bad thing, it's definitely wasted. It's gonna be wasted, and it's definitely gonna be takes a responsibility in the afterlife, because yeah, so that's the reason why I basically try to do to prevent a bad behavior or the bad things that I basically unintentionally do. So yeah, but at some point I basically wanted to, yeah, just trying to fulfill the things that basically can overcome those all of my mistake, all of the sins that I definitely made every day, every hours or every minute, every second, I don't know. Because yeah, it's definitely a never ending sins that we are trying to make, so that's the reason why we definitely need to overcome it. But we just never know whether we will already, whether we have already enough to overcome it or not, because if we eventually didn't enough to overcome it, then we will definitely have some pain in the afterlife when we are already gone from this world, and it is definitely irreversible and there's no going back. So we just can't accept the pain and the truth that we still have so many things that we need, that we should fix before we eventually gone from this world. So yeah, that's the reason why almost every people would definitely, I don't know what's the word, regret, yeah, regret for all of the things that they have done in this world, because at the time that they finally gone from this world, because yeah, so it's already almost 15 minutes and my iPhone battery is already 83%. So previously I already tried to make the good behavior recording. That's pretty long. It's the exact 30 minutes of the duration, and it's already wastes 10% of my battery, even though my iPhone are just recently charged into 100%. So it's definitely to 10% of battery life to stream Animoji for 30 minutes of duration. And right now it's already 15 minutes, it's already decreased 7%, so I will probably will stop when the battery is already 81%. And yeah, back again with the topic that I basically a little bit forgot. So yeah, I definitely forgot. I think I will try to stop. Is it already time for me to stop the broadcast? I don't know. I think yeah, it's all about regret. Yeah, even if yeah, it's all about okay. Let me try to continue a little bit. So yeah, even if they were a best people that ever lived, they still have some regret when they finally cannot continue to life in this world, because yeah, if they able to continue life in this world, they will probably will make other people's to be the same as them, especially the one that still have not enough to meet the minimum requirement into considering a good peoples that will have a good fate or destiny in the afterlife, because yeah, we just never know, because yeah, and for the bad people it's obviously will regret that they hope that they will never get what how many good things in the world that basically make them a bad person. So yeah, they would probably wish that they would basically turn into worst person that ever live, as long as they can do good things. Yeah, but it will never be happen because it's already too late, and they just can only accept what they have done in the world. So that's the reason why when I thinking about the people who used to be do bad things in the past, I don't know whether they were still alive or not, but I always hope that they, if they're still alive, they will probably be a good person, not like what I used to see in the past. So if they already dead, hopefully it is the best thing for them, instead of keep living and still keep doing a bad things to other people. So that's the reason why I think that's all that I basically can say about that. I don't know whether there's other things. I don't know whether it's already explained before or not, but yeah, it is pretty unique, I guess, because I used to think about that when I technically in the room that I try to a little bit inspire, even though it's not that good, because yeah, there's probably a lot of bad dogs, or it is actually a good dogs, I don't know. But yeah, that's probably because a lower ceiling makes you a little bit, or I don't know, secluded room or claustrophobic room are just make you more inspire, I don't know. So I think yeah, that's all that I can say.